All right, we're live. Hello, welcome. Hi, Kathy.
Hey, Rachel.
How's it going? How's your morning so far? Your day?
My morning's going pretty good. I was doing a few little things that I was supposed to, but I made some videos for the next couple of weeks, so I feel very accomplished. That doesn't happen all the time though. So I know one of the things we were going to chat about a little bit after you talk about the bundle, because it's vegan Christmas, people. Do you know that? So I say it's vegan Christmas. It's non-denominational, so it can be just vegan holiday. But for 10 days, when the vegan health and weight loss bundle happens on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, there's lives all around the world constantly, maybe not constantly, but really pretty continuously for 10 days. And what you get to do, those of you who are watching from my people get to meet Rachel, who I met recently, who's adorable, and I have adopted her, by the way. Rachel has 2 mommies. Maybe I will take Julia. So I know that Rachel put her link for the bundle, so it's $49. It's a bunch of stuff. It's super cool. So it's over 110 products. It's worth $6,000. You bought it separately. Can't buy it after Sunday. Ta-da! If you would go out to eat and spend $49 this week, get the bundle. If you would buy 2 cookbooks, get the bundle. There's stuff from doctors, stuff from health coaches, exercise, athlete people. There's a whole yoga teacher training in there. It's ridiculous. So I encourage you. And if you can't, if for some reason you're just super tight, it's not going to work for you. Inflation has gotten to you. Watch all the people. Find your community that way. So no matter what happens, you're going to make out like a bandit this week.
Right. And I can't believe how much stuff is in there, right? So if you're curious about, right, so a lot of people, it's oh, wellness costs so much money, eating this way, living this life. But the truth is it saves us so much money to cook at home, to learn how to do your own workouts, to take care of yourself. A lot of times we impulsively purchase things because we're unwell, right? Well, and so if we take the time to start honing in and seeing, the ultimate vegan, I like to call it the ultimate vegan wellness bundle, because that's really what it is, right? So in terms of weight loss or this or that, you don't get healthy by losing weight. You actually need to be healthy, and then your body just kind of goes where it needs to be. So it's really just a wellness bundle of self-care,
And self-care is so important. So that, Rachel and I were talking about this on our conversation. I guess it was all the way until last week. It feels like I've known you for years. I think we've known each other a week. Uh-huh. But we were talking about sometimes it's hard. Our minds and our energy levels can really interfere with us doing self-care, what's best for ourselves. And sometimes we have to rethink what works for us at any given moment. Today, it sounds, I'm sorry, the dog is probably going to bark. It sounds like I'm kind of bragging because I've got a lot of energy. Well, I don't always. Right? So when I don't, I try to have, if I know I'm going to cook some stuff, and maybe either I have, I'm going to go live 2 to 3 times a day for a week, now, or something. I'll make a double batch of soup. Double batch of lasagna. Vegan lasagna is awesome, people. Right. You can put that in there. Put it in the freezer. Pull it out on those days when you just can't do anything. And it's cheaper than getting Chinese food. Max is just not going to stop. I have no idea what's going on out there. And hello, people who are there.
I have a comment saying there's a lot of echo. And this happened last time I did this too.
Do you have ear pods by any chance? Because that might help a little bit.
All right, let me get this going. Fix the echo.
And I'm going to mute while you're doing that.
All right, well, hopefully we'll get this sorted out. Thanks for saying that in the comments. All right, so hopefully this will fix the feedback in just a second. Let me get my Bluetooth headphones on. All right, short delay. This is technology.
And Cheryl's taking the dog downstairs now. The mailman had the gall to drive down our street. Can you believe it?
The mailman coming through. Let's see. Do we still hear an echo? I got these. All right, the headphones. Let's see the comments.
That's Angela.
But it's probably
let's see, mine will be echoing possibly through her side. Because there's not much I can...
I think perhaps this might have fixed it because like your speaking coming out of the speakers back into the microphone, now it's just straight in my ears. So I'm hoping this will do it.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
It's a big delay in the comments, so sometimes it can be even a 60-second delay.
Okay.
So just know that.
Yeah.
Cheryl says hi.
Hi, Cheryl. I wanted.
She won't come over.
No.
She hasn't combed her hair, and it does look pretty bad.
That's all right. We'll leave you. Let's see. It fixed it for Rachel Detroit coaching, but it's still echoey from Kathy, but still a bit better.
Let me see. Well, Max has stopped barking. I'll see if there's any setting I can.
It's getting better now.
I'm going to look.
Yay.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
That sounds good enough.
So I'm going to segue us back into this topic of like having enough energy to prepare to do all these things, right? And we talked about, you told me about your teaspoon analogy, right? Like how many teaspoons of energy that we have. Will you explain that a little bit? Because I just love it. It's so...
Sure. And it's not mine. It actually comes from like a health community, like people who have serious illnesses and different things that obviously I can't remember right now. But so use how many teaspoons you have. So like if you have like fibromyalgia, for instance, you have a lot of pain and a lot of illness that people can't see. But you may wake up and be in a lot of pain. So you might say, I have half a teaspoon. What I can do is one thing. So I can do some emails, or I could do a load of laundry, or maybe today you have 3 teaspoons or more. So basically what it is kind of like looking inside and going, how do I feel today? Do I feel like I can get some stuff done? What is kind of pushing myself in a good way, and what feels really punishing in a bad way? And I think for me, I'm still figuring out some of that because like I'm very goal oriented. But like this week I was going to not do a lot of other work, but I've decided if I have the energy, I'm going to do extra work. And then so next week, when I'm completely exhausted from all of the social contact that I don't usually have, that I can really just like stay in bed and read a book all day or something like that. So it's kind of like balancing it and thinking, every meal doesn't have to be this 2-hour prep extravaganza either. You can take a can of beans.
I'm going to segue this into what's in the bundle here, right? So like talking about this, like this idea, like maybe you have 5 teaspoons and you feel so energized and so good. And maybe you do want to do a 2-hour recipe and like that feels really good for you. But maybe, like for example, I have an autoimmune condition and although I look well all the, I mean, not all the time, listen to me, I look well all the time, but but sometimes my teaspoons, right? So let's say I have 5 teaspoons, that's my full energy. Sometimes I only have 2. And actually, I think this applies to the whole world, right? Not just folks with conditions. And it's like honoring and being kind to ourselves when we only have 1 or 2 teaspoons. Like, are we going to jump into doing a recipe that takes 2 hours? Or are we going to buy this bundle for $49 and look at the recipes that there's an ebook in there that says, I don't cook, I cook a little. And it is like the easiest, I mean, as I'm going through it, is the easiest recipes for anyone who's wanting to get going on this. And like, and actually, to be honest, for anyone who's going on it, but needs ideas of what to do when they only have a few teaspoons. And I'll just talk about what I put into the bundle. My ebook has super easy recipes. Everything will be cooked and finished. You'll be eating it, usually less than 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. And the most advanced ingredient that I use in my recipes, now hold on tight to this one. My most advanced ingredient is nutritional yeast, right? Yes. And that's only in like 2 recipes, maybe 3, but not that many. So it's super accessible. It doesn't mean that you have to go buy a whole bunch of things you've never seen before or heard of, or, and like even the idea sometimes. So I'm a coach, and when I work with clients, sometimes, what is most daunting to them is going to the grocery store, finding the food, bringing home the things. Like, it's a process. And so what this bundle does is it gives us really accessible ways to meal prep, batch cook, make easy recipes. And your contribution in there, Kathy, you go through, you're like the appliance wizard, the kitchen appliance wizard, right? Can you share a little bit of what's going on in there? Hi, Julia. I see you in the
Hi,
chat.
Julia. And Julia's contribution is this amazing Japanese vegan cookbook, and she talks about her mom, and it's lovely, by the way. It's one of my favorite additions to the bundle. So mine is 4 different classes. So one is Start Cooking in Your Instant Pot, where you make simple things like chai concentrate and oatmeal, and so all of those are super easy. There's even a lentil and rice dish you make all in one pot, and that's what I make when I don't feel good. And actually, I make up that recipe in jars and give to people when they get the flu so that they can have a little something to eat. Then I also have an air fryer class, and my classes are 2 to 3 hours long. They're filmed live. There's PDF recipes to go along with them as well. So if you don't want to watch the classes, you don't have to. But if you're new to vegan cooking, you get a lot of tips. Like in the Instant Pot 101, like I show you how to release the pressure. We talk about the different parts and how to clean it and all that. With the air fryer class, we make some cool things like my favorite French toast that has like covered in like this pecan oat crunchy topping. And it's super easy to make. And if you don't eat pecans, you could just leave them out. And there's so many different options. I also kind of consider myself the queen of options. There are gluten-free options, soy-free options, oil-free options. They're made without oil anyhow, but just so you know, there's salt-free options. You get to pick the sweetener that you want. Then I did another class where all the recipes have Instant Pot and slow cooker instructions for stews. And so for me, since I have both, so there's one, if you are just starting on this and you don't have a lot of money, a slow cooker's great. You can probably get one at $5 at your thrift store, right? It doesn't have to be fancy. And I love the slow cooker recipes for like, if I wake up and I'm really just know I have a half a teaspoon, I can put some stuff in there like, and this is a different recipe, but I can put 3 cans of beans, a can of diced tomatoes, some chili spices, Mexican oregano, and then come back when I'm ready to eat. And I don't have to do anything but scoop it out. Now, so that's good if you have just a little bit of energy when you wake up. Or I can make the stew in the Instant Pot if I'm just like, can't deal with mornings, but I've got a little bit of energy before I wind down for the day. And it also, that class helps you kind of figure out if you have a slow cooker recipe you love, how to translate that into Instant Pot and vice versa. And then I have a dehydrator class where you make your own powders. And so you can make strawberry powder. So like your own homemade strawberry quick, right, can come out of that.
Wow.
I know.
That's really awesome. And it's good for us. You right? There's no chemicals. There's nothing suspicious in it. It's good for us.
Right. And so, but my kind of favorite recipe out of that is I make a vegetable bouillon out of vegetables and nothing else, right?
Yeah.
There's no maltodextrin, there's no added oils. And also, if you look at Better Than Bouillon or the cubes, not only do they have things in it maybe we don't want to include, they're ridiculously expensive right now.
Yes.
And so I literally take like onion, carrot, mushrooms, garlic, these things, and I chop them up, put them in the dehydrator. And I am not talking about $1,000 Excalibur dehydrator. My dehydrator is one of those round Nesco ones that you can pick up at the thrift store for around $5 to $10. So know that. And also, you can do things like when I cut up mushrooms, I take the big stems and I dehydrate those and put them in a jar. I grind it and make my own free mushroom powder.
Right.
So, yeah, it's easy. And like if you have some cilantro or parsley and you had really good intentions, speaking of teaspoons, right? I always think
the cilantro intentions, always good intentions with the cilantro. And then I see it and I'm like, oh, you just turned brown. How'd you get that way?
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like, what's that smell in the corner? My poor cilantro died. And so what I will do is just go ahead and take that just as is. I'll cut off any of the stems or whatever, put it in the dehydrator, crumple it up, and then I can use it in soups and stews anytime.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like all of this is by doing these little things, by preparing and having a strawberry quick powder or bouillon that you've made at home and having it prepared in advance is like the ultimate way, in my opinion, right? In Rachel's opinion, is the ultimate way of showing yourself that you care about yourself by taking the time to, honor yourself. Oh, I only have 1 teaspoon of energy here, and then I'm going to make a recipe that's full of nutrients, right? And this is the best thing too. It's like the whole bundle is oil-free and whole food plant-based, right? And so the studies show that this is the optimal diet for like longevity, right? And so there's nothing more and even if you don't do it all the time, this is the thing. Like a lot of folks will think that you have to be full vegan. You have to be full whole food plant-based. You have to be full and it's like, no, you don't. Like you can eat 1 meal a week. You can make vegetable bouillon at home and have it and still be a normie. That's what I'm going to call you folks that eat meat. The normies, you can still be a normie and make like a vegan meal. Like it's allowed. It's more than allowed. It's welcomed.
Yeah, I've always said that because the thing is even if people come over, they're still eating meat, they're adding more vegetables. And I've talked about this a little bit too, because like even let's take those people out of the equation. We're looking at people going vegan or people going plant-based. So usually people come in it from 2 separate views. One is a little more compassionate. One is a little more health-driven. Nothing wrong with either one of them. But what I love is no matter which direction people come from, I feel like they at some point kind of end up in the middle. They're feeling a little more compassionate and they're eating a little more healthy. However winding road that path takes you, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, it really is. And even like the veganism, the whole food plant-based, and even folks um who are interested, right, and interested in giving themselves nourishing food. You know, when I coach clients, we don't ever talk, I mean, if that's their goal, we talk about, the details in terms of like numbers, right? But it's about nourishment. It's about how can we nourish ourselves and how can we take care of ourselves? And that's the meeting in the middle, right? Like the health and the care, the compassion, and it just all meets in the middle. Or it can if we let it.
I love that. I really, really love that. And Rachel, I'm just kind of wondering, so like if I was calling you up to get, someone is literally ringing the doorbell. I don't know if you heard the little lady. So Max, thank God Max is downstairs. You may hear it's squealing. I was going to say, if I came to you for coaching and we decided, that I'm just tired and what I'm doing is like, I'm not really prepping ahead or thinking ahead. So that's where my downfall is. I'm like, well, it's 5:00. I haven't done anything. I'm really tired. So I'm going to order pizza or I'm going to order takeout or something like that. Take me through kind of where you would start with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that in my coaching, if folks are focused on wanting to go out to eat, wanting those easy meals where someone else prepares them, we talk about and we learn about how do we order food, right? Because it's not bad, right? It's actually quite social to go out to eat or to order in. And so we learn how to order things that fit us, not order things, because really
Nice.
when we eat things that are good for us, right, you're reinforcing to yourself, even if it's like, I'm so tired, I've had a rough day, you're reinforcing by giving yourself these nourishing things. So we identify which restaurants, what can you order where, what fits you, and then also we allow for some flex. We allow for some care and kindness. And a lot of times when folks, like, I had a client yesterday, she had pizza, right? With just all the pizza, all the things, right? And she didn't feel good after. And it's not about like, oh, well, learn your lesson. It's about, oh, this is an opportunity to demonstrate your omnipotence and, like, oh, that didn't feel good. I actually am worth feeling good all the time. Not all the time. I mean, there's no, you are worth feeling good all the time, but it's not real, right? So I'm actually worth feeling good. And so we learn how to make choices that that grow our confidence, that grow our care, that grow our nourishment. It's all about making choices that show you're reteaching yourself that you're important, that you care about yourself, and that you can make choices that benefit your well-being.
I
And
love all of that.
I'll drop a little tip in there or a little thing for the bundle too. I wrote an ebook on the 6 aspects of lifestyle where we talk about making these choices and making these commitments and how it's really about how we love ourselves.
It's a beautiful way to think about it. I've gotten to where a lot of times I'll say, think about what favor you can do for your future self. So like sometimes, actually all the time, if life is running well, we have run the dishwasher at night. Whoever gets up first empties the dishwasher, because if you start your life with an empty dishwasher, then the counters stay clean. Your sink doesn't pile up full of dishes. It doesn't seem so overwhelming to come in the kitchen to make something, because you come in the kitchen, you're like, oh, I got a lot of stuff to do. I think I'm just going to, I don't know, have a power bar or what. I don't have power bars, but you know what I mean. I'm going to grab something simple that requires me not to enter the kitchen. And so I do find that if I just keep that one routine going, it's amazing, because if I don't do it for like 2 days, the whole kitchen is covered in stuff. I don't even know how it happens. But so I've identified this one thing that really creates this warm, nice place for me to be in the kitchen. Same thing. Sometimes I'll make a double batch of my favorite soup, put it in the freezer for future me. And it's like, you open up the freezer, oh, it's so sweet. Someone made me soup.
You know, it really is. It's really like a lot of times we don't think about our future self. We want instant gratification. We want to address our feelings in this is how I feel and this is what I'm going to do, and a lot of times it's like this pause, and we realize like, oh, I actually am capable of making sure my dishwasher is ran, putting some things in the fridge that I want to eat for tomorrow. And so and this is the other thing about having options, right? Having like the recipes that you've created in your Instant Pot recipe or your slow cooker recipes, or like if you're feeling Japanese food, Chef Julia's recipes, or if you want to do batch cooking, Tammy Kramer's from Nutmeg Notebook, if you're into raw, whatever it is, whatever you're wanting to do. But by having that prepared in advance, or getting the ingredients in advance, or just like you said, creating a space, right? You're creating a space, an environment that's like welcoming to nourish yourself, right? Whether it's, like, and by nourishment, I don't mean just food. I mean everything. I mean mentally. I mean, you don't want to go into a kitchen sink full of full of junk, you know?
And it's funny because it's not that everything is this clean. If you could see the other side, you'd be like, oh, we're working on getting a lot of things. We're very cluttery people as people. So we're working on that. That's part of our process. But the one place I can't have clutter is over here, So this is the first thing that has to happen. But I love the way you're so compassionate in your coaching, and you're thinking about these other things. And I think it's so important, at least for me, because I have knee-jerk reactions. A lot of times I will have a plan, I'll do something that's not on that plan, and my knee-jerk thing is that I'm a bad person, I'm a failure. So I'm textbook negative self-talk. If I don't actually I have to go, no, it's okay. We can do this today, and then an hour from that, we can do something different and pivot.
Right. All of us are programmed that way. The mind's natural instinct is to tell us why we're not good enough, why we can't do this, why all of these negative things. And we literally have to reprogram our brain. It's like we have to reprogram our brain, reteach ourselves that actually it's okay. And actually everything, let me tell you this, everything feels better when we're relaxed, right? So even if we ate out of the plan, or we didn't prep, or house is a mess, relax. Just relax. Everything is better when we kind of chill out. But it's so easy to beat ourselves up. Like we will be the first person to nail ourselves into the ground. But we are also the first person who can pull ourselves up, right? And we get to make that choice. Either we break out or break down, You get to choose how you want to do it. And little changes, right? These little habits, cleaning your kitchen, going to bed and making sure that the dishes are out of the sink, and it's just making the bed. This is a big one. If you don't make your bed every day in the morning, start making your bed, because then no matter what kind of day you have, no matter what kind of day, when you come home, that bed is made for you. And that's really nourishing. That's really caring, Yeah.
I'm laughing because Julie says I'm not very relaxed this week. I think all the contributors to the bundles, and if I'm more of an ambivert, which just means I can present as extroverted, but I recuperate as an introvert. And it's funny, I don't know if it's from 2020 or getting older, but being on 2 to 3 videos and talking to people who I love. So it's not like it's hard work or that I'm like, oh, when is this going to be over? It's like I'm really enjoying myself, but after, my energy level goes from like here to whoosh.
Yeah. I get
It's
that.
very interesting. And I know that other people are experiencing that too. So if you're watching and you're just like, oh, look, all the bundle people are just perfect and they're full energy and they're always doing the right thing. No, we're not full energy all the time. We have half a teaspoon. If you're an ambivert like me, people think you're extroverted and assume that you're getting all that you need from this interaction when I'm going to be in the bed with the covers over my head reading a silly book.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to give me the energy to make a big pot of stew for dinner tonight.
Right. And this piece of, right, like the internet, the way people present on the internet, like, let me just tell you, world, it's not real, right? It's like people come on and they show what they want to show. I mean, it's real, but, there is so much to it, right? And how do we re-energize? How do we take care of ourselves? And something, too, that in my contribution to the bundle, one of them, I talk about meditation, the importance of meditation, the importance of, and sometimes really, if you don't have time to meditate for 10 minutes, then you probably need 40 minutes, right? That's an old Buddhist proverb. But and that's the thing, like in our culture, in our Western culture, we're just taught, right? Your worth is determined by how much you can work, how much you can accomplish, what you can show someone that you've gotten, right? Like growing up for me, it was like, we have to finish high school, then we have to go to college, and then we have to go to master's, and then we have to get our, have this big job. And it's all about like what you can produce. And really the truth is, if we want to live well, and living well means it starts here, right? It starts in the brain. And if we want to live well, we have to put in these little things like the meditation, like preparing our food in advance, or not even preparing it, having an idea of what you're going to eat in advance, hiding under the covers in the bed sometimes it's like we're all here, and our only job on this earth, truly, right? Our only job is to take care of yourself so then you can help other people, really, right? At least that's my motto. I take care of Rachel as well as I can. And I live with an autoimmune disease, right? I live with it. Every day it's here. She's here. MS is here. She says, hello, Rachel, and it's like, how can I take care of this disease? How can I take care of myself so then I can be helpful to other people? So I can, and that's really fulfilling.
Yeah. It's beautiful, really. It's beautiful. A lot of times when I do lives and do demos and stuff, I'll tell people, if you have just a little energy, just do one kind thing for yourself. And I mean, like, that could be literally putting an extra toilet paper roll in the bathroom so you don't have to go and change it in the middle of the night. Like, it can be where the bar is low if you want it to be or need it to be. And then if you have just a quarter teaspoon more, just try to be kind and spread that out. Because I feel like when I'm kind and helpful, then that makes me feel better too, So it's kind of, I think, this nice circular energy building thing when you're good to yourself. And this doesn't mean when someone's horrible to you, just going, oh, thank you. Doesn't mean you don't get to stand up for yourself. But one of the things that I try to do as a practice is that when I go to the store, the grocery store, I ask the person checking me out how their day is. Before I leave, I say, I hope you only have nice people in your line today. And it's not a lot, But at least someone knows, because people are not nice, and they're even less nice now after COVID about, because you'll be in a line and you'll see someone being a jerk. And just the fact that someone's being considered, someone's being listened to, could change their day. And maybe it doesn't. But if it doesn't, at least I've reached out to try and do that. So I think when you think about these things, just remember that they can be small, and small is not the equivalent of not as meaningful. Something small can be very meaningful.
Mm-hmm. And it also has an impact on ourself, right? So like this morning, I thought to myself, I was like, girl, you have not been smiling enough. I'm like, because I feel it. Like I was like, I feel low. I feel kind of tired. I don't drink coffee, but I started drinking green tea, and I wanted to blame it on the caffeine. I'm like, well, you're drinking caffeine now, and now you need it. Now you just feel like you can't. And I'm just like, girl, just chill out. And I was like, all I really need to do is smile more. Like that, and if you're watching this, try it, right? If you're just sitting there doing nothing, go ahead and just smile. Maybe curl your lips up a little bit. And like even that feeling, like I seriously told myself, I was like, Rach, too many days in a row. You got to smile. Like you got to smile a little bit. So, and it feels so good. And that's really little, right? Just going like this and like smiling at someone else, right? Like careful who you smile at nowadays. Just kidding. But
there's a story when I lived in New York for a while in my 20s. So I'm from North Carolina, and what you do is when you walk down the street, you smile and say hello to people you don't know. It's just a thing. And so I couldn't stop smiling at people for a while, and so people are like, what the heck? Someone tried to follow me home. I had to get off the subway stop early. So be aware of your environment when you're smiling at other people, but probably 90% of all places are safe to smile.
Right. And like it's just a smile. You don't have to be making googly eyes or anything at these people. Just a quick little hey, and keep it moving. Right?
Well, you live in Detroit, so you'll probably have to teach me the big city walk still.
Right? Yeah.
But
I love to chat with people all the time. I'm in the grocery store. I'll be like, I'm talking about this tomato, chopped tomatoes. I'm like, well, this can of tomatoes is blah, 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 blah. Sometimes I'm like, what do these people think about me? I'm like, this is cool. This is really cool. There's no salt added. Did you ever see this before? Great.
Oh, you should see me. I'm in Target and someone's looking like in an Instant Pot. And every once in a while I'll go, oh, do you have one already? No. We're trying to figure out what to get. Well, what are you? I give them this laundry list. I'm like, this is the one that you need. Because I can't help myself, because it's like, I have this information and I know you need this information. But like if they look stand backish, I don't like press it. But it's hard when you have this information that you want to share with the world to make their lives easier, right?
Yeah. And what I'm finding now, so I've been doing the sauna a lot lately. I've just really been enjoying it. And there's so I go to the gym, and there's a sauna in the gym, and there's a lot of like ladies in the sauna, and we'll just be all sitting in the sauna. And I always, so I'm certified in personal training, and I'm really big on functional movement, right? So just like the day-to-day physical, because with someone who lives with a chronic disease, sometimes my ankles, they're just tight. They just don't move. Like, it's not, so I study a lot how to accommodate and how to fix that. So anyways, this woman has arthritis in the sauna, and my brain is just like, I could tell you everything. I mean, I know what you could do with your feet. I know about your hands. Let me tell you about your elbows. All of it, I can help you. But my brain said, pause, Rachel. You don't have to word vomit on this person who has arthritis that you're obviously way excited to help. So what I did was I said, would it be okay if I told you, would it be okay if I gave you a little information about it? And then and then I let it rip. I'm like, wow, da 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 da. And people are so welcoming. People are so welcoming to relate nowadays. If 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 we create a space that's safe and welcoming, right? It's like I feel like post COVID, or maybe COVID's still going, I don't know. Post that, right? Post whatever happened in 2020. Post that, it's like everyone is a little bit unsure, a little bit more reserved, a little bit more, and it's like we have to recreate. We have to cultivate this space of safety and trust, and like even thinking like, okay, so jumping back into veganism or plant-based eating, or right, this bundle, the extra, whatever, the exercise, all that, and it doesn't feel good if we make it like this. You have to be this way. It's only for people who do that. It's like we want to create a safe and brave space, right? Brave spaces so people feel empowered. Like, oh, actually, I'm able to make this slow cooker recipe that's super accessible. I'm able to batch cook, so I have all this stuff. I have a date coming over, and I'm gonna make some Japanese fried rice, or I'm excited, like, and there's a ton of raw food contributions in the bundle too, which I love. I love raw food. And so if one is like dealing with a lot of conditions, autoimmune conditions, yada, 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 inflammation, there's nothing more nourishing than um, putting raw foods in your body. And this bundle makes it really safe and accessible to just give it a shot. Like you don't have to commit your life to it. You don't, just give it a try. See how you feel.
And I like what you were talking about, these spaces. And I usually use possibly the overused word of communities. Because, like, for me, I make a couple of different communities for my people. And everybody in the bundle has a community of people. And so another way is for you to be kind of, you go in, you find who you like or who works for you at that moment in time. All of this you get forever. So maybe next year you're not looking to start eating plant-based, but you're looking to do yoga teacher training. Or in the summer, maybe you don't eat raw normally, but in the summer you might be like, oh, I do need some salad dressing recipes for sure. And you can kind of do that. And you can meet these new people and become parts of their communities too, which is super special.
Right. Right. Well, so the bundle, you have to download it in 1 year and then it's yours forever. So don't forget to
Yeah.
download it if you buy it. You got 1 year to download it. But just like you're saying, it's like you can take it easy. You can relax and take it easy. If anyone knows where that quote is, we're in the same group. But you can take it at the pace that you want. You don't have to be a yoga teacher just because there's yoga teacher training in there, which is super cool. You don't have to do that this week.
And I interviewed her, so it's actually a great way to start your own home practice because you learn a lot of these things. So even though it says teacher training, which kind of made me go, well, I don't want to be a yoga teacher, but what I do want to do is a home practice. So it's training included. It's just kind of amazing, all of the things that are included. I agree with you. And if you are a person who doesn't have a lot of teaspoons of energy, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed by the idea of 110 things. But, like, for instance, my classes, if sold separately, are $140. Just my classes. Chef Julia's cookbook is $25. Right? All you need to do is find one or two things that work for you today, and you've already probably saved money. And then you can keep going. Don't try and overload yourself on too many things. Pick the one thing and, watch a class, then get a cookbook, then do this thing. And so take your time with it, be kind and patient. And you know what? If you try one thing and it's not for you, try the next thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And my favorite thing too is just like you said, you get folks get the opportunity. Um, let's see. Bye, Boomer and Beyond Wellness. We get the opportunity to like see what different types of, like, there's a posture, a person in there who focuses on physical movement and how you feel based off how you carry yourself, right? So there's just so many different folks that you can meet and follow and engage in and learn something. And everybody's kind of their own little, everyone's their own thing. I march to the beat of my own drum. Kathy's got her own shenanigans that she participates in. And like, everybody's doing their own thing here. And we all come together for this one thing, which is wellness, right? And wellness looks different for everybody. And it all starts, I mean, I believe it all starts here and actually here in the heart. It's like, um, yeah. So that's it. Get the bundle. If you're looking for some ways to wellness, if you're looking for some easy entry points, if you're looking to get back into it, let's say you fell off your wellness, whatever that might mean. You fell off just get back into it. That's it. It just takes 1 second to make a decision to start again, right? And it's this my one of my favorite my coach. I've got coaches coming out of my heads. I really believe in coaching, so I have coaches. Um, and so one of my favorite things that my coach told me, he said, whenever something goes wrong or whenever you're not doing, he said, starting now. You just say to yourself, starting now. It doesn't matter none of that matters. The past is
Mm-hmm.
gone. It does not matter. It's starting now. Starting now, get your bundle. It's $49. It's only out until the 12th at midnight. So there's a ton of stuff in there. You get to see a lot of really cool people. Can follow their pages. There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's always such a pleasure to get to hang out with you, Rachel. So thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. This has been the bright excitement of my day. I've been looking forward to it. I love talking to you. I'm glad to be adopted by you too. And yeah, and
I
if you,
told Julia that, and she's like, I adopted her. And I'm like, she can have extra moms. That's okay.
yeah, Julia's like my mom all the time. Like I'd be texting her all the time. So it's so awesome. And now you're on it too. I'm like, hello. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So
I'm
it's just,
good. I'm good with it. No, I'm just so pleased that we got to connect because of the bundle, and now we
yeah.
get to be friends for a long, long time. It's awesome. And even if you're not a contributor, so you might be like, well, I'm not a contributor. You'll go to these people's communities, and if you're going to some of these lives, you'll meet new people, and you might be following them and hanging out with them, and they'll help support you to your goals too. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing year.
Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Kathy. I'm going to end this live. Thanks everyone who watched. And if you have not gotten your bundle yet, the link, I've been dropping it in the comments. Get your bundle. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.